And here we are. This is the drive test lane we're in. Doesn't seem to be much going on here at the DMV today. It's 420, so I explained it. But you'd come here, we'd stop at the white line, and we'd go through the whole vehicle check, and then driver would get in, maybe go over the ground rules a little bit. You know, if I say something that is not, you don't understand, or if you don't do anything illegal on purpose because you think I'm telling you. That's generally what I say to my folks, and I know that a lot of the instructors say the same thing. So one of the big issues that I've seen the people I've done the concierge for is some major ones: bike lanes, crosswalks, stop signs, and then the head checks, and of course speed, right? So in California, they want you to always do a head check when you're turning a lane, or changing a lane, or turning into multiple lanes. And it's basically one of the actually looking behind you. Every person that uses my vehicle, we talk about some things that are just common courtesy. One of them is to merge at speed and not to slow down when they're merging, which is the absolute worst thing in the world. So coming out of Claremont DMV, this is the majority of the time the route that they'll take. Here, they almost automatically ask for someone to do a lane change. So check in your mirrors, go over, look behind you, and do the lane change. Almost inevitably, my students have told me they'll do it a couple of different times just to make sure the head check was actually done left or right, directionals were on, things like that. This is also where, you know, are the folks going the right speed, things like that, because it changes from a 35 to a 40, back down to a 30. So there's a lot of, it's pretty clearly marked here, so saying I didn't know is kind of tough. The other thing is, I tell everyone that comes through, if they don't know what the speed limit is, 30 is their safest bet. On a road like this, 30, you can hit it 33, 34, but until you know the speed limit, you don't want to go over the speed limit during your drive test. So the slowest would be 25 miles an hour 99% of the time, so 30 is the safest, especially in traffic. So coming up on a right-hand turn that is a pretty busy intersection. Kind of hoping the light would turn red on us, but it's not going to. So this is where we talk about how they have to actually go into the bike lane because there is a turn lane there. They're doing a head check. They're moving. We got our red light. And we're okay to go because nothing's going on. Rights on reds are something that with some folks I'll do it with them, and others I'll say, you know, if you're uncomfortable with a right on red, you don't have to do it. Or wait for it to be that you're very comfortable, meaning no one's coming. I got that from one of the drive instructors down at the San Diego, the center, Normal Street, and one of my concierge appointments failed on a right on red, believe it or not. And he explained why, because the person was having trouble understanding, and we were able to work on it, and he passed the next time, so it actually worked out pretty well. We talked about how getting up to speed is a good thing, but you don't have to go the speed of light, and also never giving the instructor any question about whether or not you're actually going to slow down, or, you know, accelerating into a red light or a stop sign. That's something that has come up an awful lot with a lot of different students, so it's something. Now here we're going to take a right hand. We've got a bicycle over here, so we're making sure everything's clear. Head checks were done. One last sure no one's behind us. And then they're brought through some of these city streets. There are school zones or school placards for speed set up, and generally it's 25 through here anyway. So. A lot of times your inclination is to slow down at an intersection. There's quite a few of them through here that don't have stop signs at all, and so we try to put my people I'm driving with, I try to put them in that situation so they're able to read the intersection to know where the stop signs are and where they are not. It's called creating confusion on the test. It's something that it can be a major error. If you stop at the stop sign and you take too long to go, they'll say you're creating confusion, and I've had more than a couple of people fail for that one reason. So when I move over into this bike lane, whether it's a parking lane or anything, I still have to check to make sure there's no one in my blind spot. Whether it's a car, a bicyclist, a scooter, a person walking out from the parking space. So it's very important. It's over the 50 tests, maybe 65 tests that I've given over the last year, that has been a recurring theme. It's the whole not doing a head check when you're going only 25 miles an hour and you're braking into a bike lane. So reversing's a big deal on this test. It's caught up more than a few people, and it's really just a matter of making sure that not only are you checking your mirrors, right, but you are actually doing the look behind. So we're in reverse right now. I've checked my mirrors, we're clear to reverse, and now I have to just back up. And I'm able to take a look at my side mirror to make sure that I'm backing up along the curb in the correct way, because this is about a test of keeping the car fairly straight. And that's it. That's pretty much. I've seen that. They've actually done it at this DMV. They do it. If they forget to do it, they actually have them back up right in the lot. And that is, I've seen that firsthand. So critical errors, I mentioned that a few times already, but in my experience, there are crosswalks, failing to stop at stop signs, not doing your head checks left or right when changing lanes, speed, and then accidentally invading lanes. So if you're on a one-lane road and you're turning onto a major road and there's two lanes you can turn into, the test calls for you to turn into the closest lane, not the one. So, and that, if you were to turn into the other lane, you would have to do head checks, things like that. So those are the major errors. Not doing the head checks, being exaggerated about it. I tell everyone who goes into my car, especially the experienced drivers, make sure that there's no reason that anyone can say I didn't think you did the head check. Exaggerate it a little bit, lean forward, move over. Give them what they want to see. Is basic thing, and you'll be safer for it anyway. In fact, I'll tell you the truth, I do them far more than I ever did. When I started doing this and hearing all that, I was like, oh my God, I don't do that well. So pedestrians walking right here in front of us, that is another thing. Do your folks a service and say, if someone's in the crosswalk, don't even move towards it. Don't make them think you're going to move towards it. Don't let the pedestrian worry about it. Don't have your instructor worry about it. Stay still until the person is out of the crosswalk.